We're here live with Greg Lindsay from Realty One Group, top producing agent. Been a top producing agent for quite a while. But before we get started talking with Greg, because I'm excited. I'm excited to learn everything about you, bud, because I mean, you've been doing this, what, 5 years?
5 years,
Extremely successful for 4.5 of those 5 years.
Correct,
right?
yes.
Fair to say. But first, we're here at this Vegas Content Studio. It's a pretty cool place, right?
Yeah, very cool.
It's an amazing place to do, videos, podcasts, whatever you want to do. You might want to give them a shout. Vegas Content Studio. They provided all this wonderful stuff for us. And I just love coming here and just talking with people. It's just fun. It's very natural. Very comfortable, right? Would you say?
I would say it's very comfortable.
Okay. All right. So let's get started, Mr. Lindsay. Greg, you started about 5 years ago.
Correct.
You had a successful career up to that point. You were an athlete early on. You're a great golfer. I know that. Yeah. I can't golf with you. That's for sure. And then at what point did you decide, I think I'm going to get into real estate?
Well, it started with my wife, Ashley.
Mm-hmm.
She got into real estate about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she kept begging me to join her. I was a little hesitant. I didn't take it very seriously at first with Ashley even doing the real estate, being that, she is from a foreign country and English being her second language. But boy, was I wrong with that. Mm-hmm. She really, really took off and impressed me and her clients. And after following her around, helping her with some open houses, playing security guard, I thought, hey, there's something here. I saw needs of senior citizens, actually.
Okay.
And I decided to focus on that and solving their problems and helping them with the sale of their home and moving to their next step in life.
So that's basically what drove you to, you have Ashley, who was, like you said, English is her second language.
Correct.
From another country, had been here how long before that?
She had been here about 5 years at that point.
So able to overcome quite a bit.
Yes.
Join the ranks of a top producing realtor at the number one company in all of Las Vegas. That's a pretty amazing thing when you think about it.
Yes, very amazing.
So you jump on 5 years ago. How'd you do? Talk about your entry into the business. Did you flounder? Did you have extreme success right away, or how did it all work?
I wouldn't say I was successful, or Ashley and I weren't that successful in the beginning. Being a new agent it's difficult. I would go to our meetings at Realty One, the Tuesday office meetings. Always had great content, but it seemed like every week, was something different. You got to be doing social media. You got to be doing Facebooks. You need an Instagram account. You need to be marketing, flyers, sending out mailers. We had a lot of good stuff, but my gosh, if you had to sit there and by the time you finished the first Tuesday and you decided you were going to focus on doing social media, making a video or for YouTube or something of that nature, by the next Tuesday, you hadn't even finished that project. So it just seemed a little overwhelming. We were jumping around too much. So we kind of just stepped back and looked at the big picture. We decided that we were going to, help people.
Was it senior citizens you wanted to help, or did it matter at that point?
At that point, it really didn't matter, but it seemed to come about that because of the community that we lived in. We lived in a 55-plus community. Those people had different needs than, say, people down in the valley somewhere, the younger crowd. So usually in our cases, one or the other clients would have passed away. Mm-hmm. And the one left has their entire life sitting in the house. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And they needed help to decide what the next step in life was going to be for them. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what we focused on in the beginning. Now, since then, we've gotten quite larger and don't specifically target that market, but that was where we started.
So back up. So you brought up a great point I want to have mentioned in this podcast right here, because so many realtors start, and they're like yourself. They go to the meeting, they hear all these great ideas. You should do social media. You should do open house. You should send out mailers. You should do, but yet you think this is way too much.
Yeah.
You start on one, and then you feel like you should be doing another. You jump to that, and that's why most realtors fail. That among other things.
Yes.
But the difference with you said, I've got to come up with something that works for me, and I think there's a need, not even works for you, more, there's a need for this. You didn't say, how much money could I make? I could make a lot of money doing this. And the thought was, who can I help, and how can I help them? Correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's basically just about good customer service, answering your phone, number one.
Yeah.
So answering your phone, understanding your clients, what their needs were, and then coming up with a plan on how to help them and be successful at doing it at a cost-effective way.
But you do things way differently than most people. Was it fair to say? You literally help them move. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure, we can talk about that.
What is the average realtor facilitates the deal? The average realtor does about 1 million things that the public doesn't even realize that they do. But you go, I'm going to call it above and beyond. Okay. You actually help people move. You facilitate their move. They may have things that they need to clear out of their home. You work with them on that. They have a place to go to. You work with them on that. You work with them at every level. So, you really give them a ton of value for the money they're paying you, correct?
Correct.
Yes. How did you establish that? Seemed like a good thing to do at the time, or did you?
Well, it kind of just evolved over time. With my first client, needed to move to North Carolina. Didn't have a clue how to do it. Well, I just used my abilities and Ashley's abilities, and we made phone calls, we did some research, and we figured it out. And we presented it to our client. She was very grateful.
When you say figured it out, meaning...
figured out, how to connect with the movers, to get her across country. She needed her car moved as well. She didn't want to drive, so we had to figure out, how do we get it there? What's the most cost-effective way to do it? Same with the moving, it's one of the misconceptions people have about moving. Somebody wants to move across country. They want to take all their belongings with them. Sometimes those belongings will cost you more to take them across country than it would be if you just sold them here and then perhaps buy new. So you want to look at all angles when it comes to that.
Well, I think the public perception of the realtors is you make a lot of money and do very little. I think it's the contrary of that.
True.
I wouldn't say very little money because we're well paid, but we do an awful lot for what we do.
Correct. There's a lot of responsibility in being a realtor that I don't think the public really realizes that, we are there to protect them. We want what's best for them, not what's best for us.
Yeah. That's the majority of realtors I know anyway. So, so do you literally help people move? Do you move them? What's that look like? Do you facilitate the move or?
So I don't actually do the moving myself, of course, but I have assembled a team that does that for us. So we just facilitate it. Basically, we make sure that it's getting done. We make sure that everything arrives on time and is reassembled or put in the right place.
How do you find the time to do all that? Really, adding to the fact you've got to work on the deal itself. That's just a lot of work, my man.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but that's where the magic is my wife, Ashley.
Okay. I should mention, my bad, for your part of the Lindsay group.
Correct.
And that other part is Ashley. We've talked a lot about it. We didn't bring her up, but Ashley is your partner.
She's the leader. She's the driving force behind it all, and she keeps the Lindsay group organized.
Wow.
It's amazing the things that she's done, the things that she continues to do. Can't say enough about her.
Could you do this on your own if you had to, or?
There's no way I could do this by myself. No way. Without her, no, we would not be as successful as we are.
Now, ask is your wife. What are the challenges with working with your wife?
It's difficult.
Okay,
It's not. It wasn't easy in the beginning. You know, we had disagreements about how we were going to do business, but the thing is that we had to find out what we do best, and what she does best is my weak spot, and what I do best is her weak spot.
Wow!
So together, we're pretty whole when it comes to that.
So while most realtors are being challenged this year in a big way, wouldn't you say? Here we are, 2023. A lot of realtors have a lot of challenges. I mean, it's not like it was. It's not as easy. It's a lot more challenging, would you say, right?
Absolutely.
How are you meeting those challenges? I mean, you're pretty much on par, like you always are, correct?
Correct.
Your sales haven't dipped.
No, we haven't taken a drastic drop.
Right. And how do you account for that?
Well, I think it comes back to the system that we use. It's just, I have a routine that's set up for me to stay in contact with my clients. And that's the most important thing. I think that's where a lot of realtors lose it, is that they don't follow up with their clients even after the sale. I'm in contact with my clients consistently. I touch base with them at least once every 30 days and usually more than just the once. But
so that's the important point I want to mention. At some point, I think it was maybe 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago.
Yes.
4.5 years ago, you decided I'm going to do a method called working by referral.
Correct.
Right? Brian Buffini.
Yes.
We all know. Other people do it. Other people talk about that, but Brian Buffini seems to be honed in on working by referral.
Correct.
You attended a class that we offered at Realty One Group, and you locked into it like no tomorrow. Well, I taught that class, and basically everyone in that class was kind of halfway serious about it. You showed up prepared each and every time, and there was some lame homework assignments too, right?
Yeah.
Right? And it amazed me how each and every time you carried it out, and something had clicked in you, and you went like. It turned from there, correct?
Yeah.
You were doing okay till then. Doing okay. You were doing fine, actually.
Yeah.
But it's almost like a rocket ship.
Yeah, it was an eye-opening experience, I guess. It was just a philosophy. Brian Buffini's philosophy is pretty much my philosophy. What gravitated me to it was the fact that I could be more consistent at it and would be held to a higher standard if I would follow what he had laid out. So it was pretty simple. They basically, ask you a few questions as how much money you want to make per year, and you tell them, and then they tell you basically how many contacts you need to make, per day or per month or per week. And if you follow that system and you do it consistently, it pays off. I mean, it started out small, and I call it the snowball effect. It was a hand-sized snowball, and now it's gotten quite large. So, but you've used that method since then wholeheartly, or yes.
I mean, you pretty much do not very many open houses.
Don't do open houses.
You don't do a lot of marketing, or do you?
No marketing whatsoever.
So I would say the Brian Buffini method is virtually no cost, other than a CRM. You wanted to talk about CRM a little bit too.
I pay for the CRM.
You don't have a Brian Buffini coach or anything like that, right?
I don't have a coach.
Okay.
Not for them not to try, but they definitely have been trying to get me to coach. But it's just different. I subscribe to the CRM, which you have to have a business of some sort. I mean, maybe you can do it on a spreadsheet or whatever, but I found their system very easy and simple to use. And it's a good reminder each day when you turn on your computer, it tells you exactly what you need to do. You need to make, 5 phone calls, you need to write 5 letters, and you need to go see somebody today.
So that's the crux of the whole system.
Yeah, that's it.
Wait a minute. 5 phone calls a day, 5 people added to your database?
Per week.
Per week? Per week?
Yeah, per week. That's
5
one
per
a day.
week.
One a day if you work a 5-day week.
Wow, that doesn't seem like much, right?
No, it's not.
Now, we're saying added to your database. Are these people you know, or you just randomly throw people in there?
No. It's people that have been referred to you by other clients or people you may have met out in public. You know, if you're standing in line like myself, I find myself standing in line at a restaurant or something, I tend to chatter to whoever's around me. And
well, I remember you telling me a story about you went to Costco and you didn't want to leave until you actually passed out 5 cards. Is that right? I mean,
yeah. Well, that was back in the beginning. You know, when we were doing the Brian Buffini class. You know, they were on you in regards to adding to your database every day. So one day I was at Costco and getting the tires changed on my car, and started talking to the mechanics that were working there. And they were very interested in real estate because they had just moved here. And so I picked up like three leads right there that day, sitting at Costco getting my tires changed. So I was like, wow, the joke that I have with you is that, you know, when I need customers, I go to Costco and hang out until I get 5 customers. So
who else does that? No one. No one. So I was excited to have you on here because I know how you work and the person you are. But I wanted to convey to the agents out there that you're making it look so damn easy. And you don't, I've talked to you in the middle of the day, you're calm, cool, collected. Most people are all frazzled. They have a deal in escrow and they freak out. Of course, again, Ashley is a big part of that.
Big part of that. And you know, that's what gives me the time to be able to come and sit and talk to you. And
so in other words, get married to a great spouse and you're good to go. Or
just
get a good partner.
Sure.
Right? It's fair to say?
Just have a good partner. Yeah, definitely a good partner. Know your strengths and your weaknesses between your partner, of course.
So in lieu of that, is it fair to say get a good admin assistant? I mean, is that right? It may cost a few bucks, but so does the wife for that matter, right?
It's a good possibility, of course. You know, working with Ashley, she takes care of most of the administration work. You know, I'm out meeting clients, talking with clients, making sure their moves are going, you know, good, make sure the repairs on their homes are doing good, and follow up on the inspections afterwards, you know, when we're listing homes, things of that nature. Ashley's always behind the scenes working. And I mean, I'm not saying she's a 9-to-5 girl, because she's not.
She's not. No.
She's 24/7, go. And she keeps cracking the whip on me. So, like I said, without her, I wouldn't be as successful as I am, for sure. So she doesn't get a lot of the credit because she's not seen as much as I am. But at the end of the transactions, all the clients know who Ashley was, and they praise her.
Sometimes it's always the person behind the greatness.
Absolutely.
Of a person,
well,
right?
you know, they say,
we all know that.
Yeah, you know, they say, you know, behind every good man's a good woman, of course, and definitely I'm blessed to have that.
That's awesome. So your daily routine, let's talk about that without getting personal, of course. But your daily routine when it comes to real estate, prospecting, how many hours?
Oh, prospecting, probably about an hour a day.
Hour a day. And you make how much? You don't have to say that, but you do pretty well.
We do well.
Is it fair to say you do as much as any physician, any attorney?
Sure.
All that?
Yeah.
And you took a test. You took a real estate test.
Yeah.
And said, I'm going to go do this thing.
Yes.
And that took you how long? About an hour to take that test?
Yep.
And you're making as much as any physician or attorney.
Yeah.
Why can't we think that in more people's heads? All you have to do, and we said an hour a day.
Yes.
Talk about, okay, so you wake up in the morning.
Well, I won't, let's step back a minute here. An hour a day of conscious prospecting.
Okay.
But I'm always prospecting.
Oh,
okay.
And that's a great point. So we'll back shift, go to talk about that hour, but talk about that part. So prospecting consciously and unconsciously, the fair to say?
Yeah, pretty much.
So talk about that part. What does that look like?
I'm going to step back just for a moment in how I got into the career. Another key element that a friend of mine that pushed me, who is a realtor in Hawaii, he and his wife both do real estate as well. She was a flight attendant and did real estate in her downtime, I guess, and he was full time at it. And they kept telling me, you got to get into real estate. You got to get into it. They were actually the ones that convinced Ashley to go forward as well. And, I went to Hawaii. We stayed with them for about a week in Hawaii. I hung out with them every day. The guy's wearing shorts, a Hawaiian shirt, flip-flops, and, he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm thinking, man,
how do we hook that
how
up?
do I do that, So, I have to be real with myself. I wasn't very confident in my abilities to do sales. And then, you have to live off of this. So it's like, can I trust myself to take that leap and get out of the profession that I'm in and do that? And, with his encouragement and with yours as well, if you recall, the only reason I worked for Realty One was because Jim Cerrone.
Thank you.
We sat down, we had many conversations, and that's how we got into it. But back to my Hawaii friend, I watched him, and the guy was prospecting unconsciously
All the time.
I mean, we would go out to dinner, and he'd introduce himself as, "Hello, I'm here for my table, and by the way,
No way.
you need a condo?" Or
No way, just like that.
Yeah, I mean, just as open as that. And I was like, wow, this guy really can
Most
put
people
himself
never
out there.
do that.
No,
I never did that. Honestly.
No, I agree. And, I'm thinking, yeah, I like to talk to people, but can I really go out there and bring up real estate? Yeah, I can. I did.
Talk about what that looks like in your world. I mean, on an average day.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's like everywhere I go, I go to a restaurant, Ashley and I will go out to eat. We sit down, we enjoy the place. The next thing I know, I want to know who the owner is. I want to know who the manager is. We introduce ourselves. We tell them we're in real estate.
Whoa.
Do you have an agent? If not, we'd be happy to help you out. Or
Do you talk to the server as well? Do you
servers.
Oh, servers.
Servers.
So you call the manager over and you say, "Great, I love the service, love the food," which is not a bad idea. You want to give them a lot of compliments, and then you hit them with the real estate thing.
Absolutely.
And you guys eat out quite a bit, right?
Yeah, we have to, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, you're always on the go.
Busy.
You're always moving. Yeah, exactly.
We make our job fun sometimes. Like when we go out to do research and things like that, we make a day of it doing our research and then top it off with a nice meal somewhere.
So not to, well, I'd like for you to maybe give advice to someone not new, someone who's in real estate right now and is probably doing, 3, 4, 5, perhaps transactions per year, and they want to kick it up to 10 or 20 for that matter. Instead of floating all over the boat, different methods, what do you recommend? I mean, maybe you do recommend other things as well.
Well, I think it just depends on the personality of the agent, most likely. If you're an outgoing person, all I can say is make contact with your clients because they forget about you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So be consistent with follow up with your clients after the sale.
Okay.
Or purchase.
Which we all know. I don't know what the stat is really. I think it's like 85% of the realtor. Well, probably higher than that. Don't communicate with their client after sale.
Right.
Why? Why do you think that is?
I think they're just so engulfed in their marketing and their the right word. Looking for
The next deal, so to speak?
Yeah, the next deal, basically.
When
it's more
right under
it's
their
more
feet.
transactional than it is personal.
Yeah, that's a great point. So you make it really. So your clients become friends, right?
Absolutely.
Fair to say?
I actually tell them that. I said, look, if when we're on the listing appointment, the last thing I tell them is I hope you like dealing with me, and I hope you'll enjoy my wife and my team because we will be your friends for life. And
Wow, I love that.
we take that to heart. So we do follow up with our clients. We have I have a routine where I go and visit them. You know, I have some clients that need visiting every week because they're elderly, and it gives me personally joy to be able to have 15 minutes to go and sit down and talk to the elderly lady who's all alone, has no family, to make her feel like she has some.
And the average person is thinking, I could be doing 4 billion other things besides sitting with someone.
Right.
I'm never going to make another dime off of.
Right.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's why you are who you are, my man. That's exactly.
Thank you.
The crux of it. And Ashley as well, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what haven't I asked you, Mr. Lindsay? What haven't I asked you want to talk about here today? Anything at all?
You have to give me a moment to think about that.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough, sir.
I haven't talked about.
We talked about everything we pretty much. I really wanted to convey that it's not as hard as some people make it look. Have we done that today, you think?
Hopefully we have. I think that a lot of times we just overthink things.
Yes.
And we're more reactional. We react to the fire instead of preventing the fire. And again, that's where Ashley comes in big with our team, is that she's always ahead of the game, keeping us proactive instead of reactive. So
Yeah, love that. Love that.
That's very helpful. I would just tell agents, stop being so transactional driven.
Yeah.
Is one of the things. I mean, I know that in the beginning, I kind of saw different opinions of different coaches or online seminars that they were whipping into your head the fact that you need to make 1,000 contacts, and if you just make 1,000 phone calls, 100 people will answer, and out of that 100 people, maybe 10 of them will invite you to your house, and
That was
maybe
1974.
you'll get 2 transactions. Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't see that being a positive way of doing business. I think that in this day and age, we need to get more personal. Electronics and telemarketing and all that, it's good, I guess, but I'm old-fashioned, I guess. I would rather sit with my client face-to-face and talk to them and care about what their needs are and try to come up with a plan to help them succeed.
You mind if I shed a tear right now? I mean, really, because most people look at a client and they see dollar signs, and that's what they see. They
Sure.
do. And you look at them as just another opportunity to help somebody.
Correct.
Fair to say? Wow.
Yeah.
How did you get to that place? That's just the person you are?
I think it has a lot to do with the family that I grew up with. My grandmother was a very giving person. My family just we took in strangers. It seemed like all the time. When I was a very young age, and I guess that's where it came from. I'd
love to have you back and talk about that one of these days. About maybe not so much real estate, but how the method you live your life, because I think that's something worth talking about. I really do. Would you mind?
Yeah, I would love to come back and do that, but it's just that,
we do this anyway. We just happen to have microphones right now.
It's a little different today with the microphones, but I generally enjoy talking with you.
Thank you.
I find you inspirational as well.
Thank you.
And you give me ideas. So I like to get those ideas and put them into motion. I think that what a lot of real estate agents in the beginning, if I could give them one thing of advice, I guess it would be consistency. You need to be consistent at whatever it is you choose to do, whatever method, of course. And if you look back over your life or anyone's life, if you find the people that are being consistent, they're successful. I think it was Bruce Lee who said that He didn't fear the man who knew 10,000 kicks, but the man who had one kick that had done 10,000 times. So, So basically the moral of that is, perfect what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
So the only downfall with the working by referral method, if there is one, it takes a little time.
Yes, it takes
If
time.
just because you don't bear fruit right away, just stick with it.
I think that's what I see most of the failures with that is that, and I try to preach to those who want to listen. You just have to be consistent about it. You're not going to get a lot of clients in the beginning. It's going to take time. I know, like when we started, it was 6 or 7 transactions the first year, and then it grew to 11, then to 20, then to 30. It'll come over time.
Yeah.
But if you think you're going to get into real estate and you're going to work by referral and get rich in the first year, you're not. It's not going to happen.
But you can make a few bucks.
You'll make a few bucks. Yeah. So.
All right, sir. Well, it's been a joy talking with you. I wish we could go on for a long time, but we're going to have to cut it short here pretty quick. So thank you, Greg,
Thank
for
you.
joining me today, and I appreciate you being here, sir.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.